Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to another Beat, Matt, Batrep.
MiniWarGaming's Beat, Matt, Batrep.
Got Alex here all the way from Cleveland. You may recognize his beautiful face because he's been here at least 2 or 3 other times. How many times have you been here?
This is
Not new location, but just MiniWarGaming.
Yeah, this is like 4th or 5th trip up here.
Been a lot. Basically, he's here with like a bajillion other people. We're going to be filming tons of Age of Sigmar and 30K, so you're going to see a lot of that in the channel over the next little while. And as you can tell by the title, we're playing some Ogor Ma tribes versus the new Ossiarch Bonereapers, which is very exciting because I haven't played against the Bonereapers yet, and I know that they have some fun stuff, some powerful stuff. And I'm also still trying out the Ogor Ma tribes book, so I'll be playing Beastclaw Raiders today, and just Beastclaw Raiders. And then when we play our next game, we'll see. We'll just keep mixing things up and see what else we can come up with. If you'd like to come on in for a battle report or for one of our events, go to MiniWarGaming.com/challenge for all the details of what's coming up and how you can get in here as well. Let's take a look at the armies. We're playing roughly 1,500 points. I say roughly because essentially with Alex's Bonereapers, I said, plop down what you got and I'll match it closely. So we're both a little over 1,500 points for this. And on this side, I have the Thunderbellies Ma tribe, and that's one of the 3 Beastclaw Raiders ones. It does a few things. First off, the general, which in this case is going to be this Huskard on Stonehorn. Everybody wholly within 18 inches of it gets +1 to their charge. Plus, I gave him the artifact that makes all terrain within 12 inches deadly to the enemy. Deadly is if you finish a normal move or charge move within an inch of it. You roll a die. On a 1, you take D3 mortal wounds. Now, I've also brought a War Scroll Battalion, the Earlbad again. That is the Huskard on Stonehorn, the Huskard Beast Riders, and 3 units of the Mournfang pack. Now what this War Scroll Battalion does is that entire battalion, which is most of my army, if they roll 6s to hit, it does a mortal wound in addition to the regular damage as well. It also allows me to bring an extra mount trait, an extra artifact, which is always nice when you're doing the Ma tribes because you're forced to bring their artifact, which I wouldn't have brought that one if it was on kind of a list to choose from. So it's nice to be able to get an extra one. So just to fill up my points, I also brought a Huskard on Thundertusk, who's always nice because he's a priest. And I gave him the Call of the Everwinter Prayer, I believe is what it's called. Keening Gale is actually what it's called. And that one is actually, the Thunderbellies like that one. He gets a +1 to pray for it, so 3+ instead of 4+. And you can choose a monster or Mournfang pack and give them +3 move. So very, very handy in this list as well. And because I got 2 mount traits, I'm going to be trying a similar strategy to what I did before, but try to do it right. I gave the Huskard Alvagr Ancient, which is any enemies within 3 inches at the beginning of the combat phase fight last if he did not charge. And then I gave Old Granite Tooth to the Huskard, which gives +1 to the hit rolls for the tusks of the Stonehorn itself. So it has a much better chance of doing some damage, which would be really cool. And other than that, you can just kind of see what it is. It's all about, there's not a lot of models on the table. I finally have this painted up as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be super useful in a Beastclaw Raiders list because you need to have a hero within 6 inches to use it. And I've only got 2 heroes. Maybe one will stay back, like the Huskard on Thundertusk to use it. Essentially, it can heal Ogors. I can, in the hero phase, heal everything within 36 inches, and then I have to refill it by killing an enemy within 6 inches of it. So it also helps wizards, but I don't have any, so that part doesn't matter. I will keep bringing it though, especially when I try out more Gutbuster stuff with Butchers, because the Butchers do really like that pot. And then over here we have Alex's Ossiarch Bonereapers. Alex, why don't you walk us through what you have brought?
Alright, so these guys are going to be the Mortis Praetorians. The battle line is going to be 2 sets of Mortec Guard in the front. They're 2 10-man units, both equipped with blades. I've also got some Immortus Guardians, Immortus Guard, as well as some Necropolis Stalkers. The general is going to be the Mortizan Boneshaper. He's going to have the traits that are from the Mortis Praetorian, so Catacross Chosen lets him add D3 Relentless Discipline points at 1 point in the battle. The Artificer's Blade, which gives his weapon -3 rend. And he's also taking the Empowered Nadirite Weapons spell, which increases the threshold for extra hits for a nearby unit. The Mortisian Soul Reaper next to him is going to have the Protection of Nagash spell, which gives him an extra save after the save. Behind them, I've got 5 Kavalos Death Riders. They're all equipped with spears. And I've got 2 sets of Morghast. I've got some Harbingers that have blades, as well as some Morghast Archai with halberds. Then, of course, I've got the Bone Tithe Nexus that Matt graciously has let me borrow from the studio.
Awesome. And what does your Legion do again? What's the overall trait of the Legion?
-1 Bravery within, it's either 6 or 12 of any units.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'll stack nicely with what's happening next. And that is that we are going to actually be playing in the Realm of Death. So we'll be using the Realm of Death rules, which possibly could be messing with Bravery. It does give you access to a spell, which I don't get to use, which is just choose an enemy unit within 18 inches and give them -2 Bravery. And yeah, that's kind of nice for the Bonereapers there, because I won't be using that, nor would I use it, because he's immune to battle shock anyways. We got some beautiful terrain here. The mat on the table is from Table War. All the buildings that you see, the non-graveyard stuff, is all from Tabletop World. Gorgeous terrain. We've got some Games Workshop scenery as well from the different graveyards and the fences that you see scattered about, and lots of foreground trees to shape it all up, just to give a nice board. So we're going to roll to see what the effect is. It also opens up all the different spells from Malign Sorcery, opens up a couple command traits, or sorry, command abilities that I can use, that Bonereapers cannot, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Bonereapers do not actually get command points. They get their own special command points, but they can only use it for their own command abilities, which is a really wonky thing, because they get a lot of them, but then like all of their units have the ability to use them as well. So it's kind of like the old Tomb Kings, which I feel that they're obviously based heavily off of. So let's roll up and see what's going to be happening for our scenario, as well as the Realm of Death effects. So first off, we're going to roll for the Realmscape feature. We both agree that if we roll a 1, we're going to re-roll it. I don't see the point of saying we're going to play in the Realm of Death and then roll something that gives no feature. And we roll a 6, Dancing Matthew, which is great for you and doesn't do anything for me. It is the Aetherquake Aftershock +1 to all casting rolls. We are going to be playing Duality of Death from General's Handbook 2019. There are 2 objectives, as you can see. The deployment is kind of weird. It's in the one side deploys in these 2 corners, and the other side deploys in those 2 corners. And the only thing that can grab objectives are heroes and battle line. It doesn't matter how many models you have, so the Ogor's ability to count as more models will not factor in here. Essentially, if you finish any type of move, normal move, charge move, on a run, a pile-in, within 3 inches of the objective, you gain control of it if nobody has control of it. And you continue to control it with that unit until that unit is destroyed or leaves. The objective is worth a number of points equal to how many consecutive turns the player has controlled it, not the unit. So heroes and battle lines can hold it, which is my entire army and a good portion of the Ossiarch Bonereapers. Other than that, the game goes as normal, goes for 5 battle rounds, and whoever has the most points wins. This was a very hard deployment for both of us because you essentially have to split your forces. We also, in certain areas like here, had pretty limited space because some guy set this up. It was me. Anyways, and so I obviously finished deploying first. No, I didn't even use my War Scroll Battalion drop thing. I just had less numbers of units to go. So I've got my Husk Guards here with some Mournfang packs. And then I have my Beast Riders and another Mournfang pack here. I don't like splitting them up because I've got a couple of really good bubbles. Like everybody within 18 inches of him gets +1 to their charge. He's got some abilities, his prayers, they're all usually wholly within 18 inches as well. But, you know, one of the sides had to suffer. And so I guess it was going to be that side. On the opposite side, Alex had the same problem. We're basically playing 2 games here.
Yeah.
Although there might be some overlap, we'll see. that this is your weaker side, it looks like.
Yeah, well, the advantage that the Bonereapers have is all of the units can use their own command abilities.
Right, so they don't quite need a hero nearby.
Right. It does help, though, to have the hero.
Yes. And then on this side, it's got a slightly bit more because you've also got the horsemen, because the Morghast are right there. So yeah, I don't know. I put my Maw Pot kind of middle-ish, because if I have to be within 6 inches to use it with the hero. You got your big tithe thing right there, and so it's going to be a weird scenario. I finished deploying first, so I choose who goes first. I would totally like to go first and just move up here, grab the objectives, but I know that he's got those horsemen back there who could give themselves +3 move 15 inches, and be able to make that charge. On this side, he can give the you could give the Morghast a +3 move as well, right? Because you've got a hero right next to them. They could fly up 12, and basically to stop me. If you charge me, I'll be in trouble because a lot of my power is in the charge. So I am going to let the Bonereapers go first, and I hope that does not backfire. Bonereapers, turn 1. How many do you get? So before the battle round actually began, we had to generate your, what are they called?
Relentless Discipline Points.
These work pretty much identical to command points, except you're going to see some weird stuff like units using them on themselves. And so you start with 1 per hero.
Yep.
You've got 2 heroes. And then you get to roll a die for every unit that's on the table. Every 6 generates another one. So he's already got the dice ready. And you get 1 more. So you get 3. And these only last for the battle round, and then they reset next turn. So then we've got, first in the hero phase, the deadly gaze of the Bone Tithe Nexus, using its punishment of death. So you choose an enemy unit within 36 inches that I can see on a 2+ mortal wound. And you can see my general, the Huskard on Stonehorn, 2+. All right, now he ignores wounds and mortal wounds on a 5+, because he is a Stonehorn. Nope, he takes a wound. He's down to 11. Spells?
Going to try to cast a Mystic Shield on the Kavalos Death Riders from the Bone Shaper.
Well, because of the Realm of Death rules that are on right now, you get +1 casting. Exciting!
Yeah.
Exciting! Woot, you did it! I cannot unbind. I don't have any wizards.
Okay. The Soul Reaper is going to try a Protection of Nagash on himself. Gives him an extra 5 up, save after the save.
So 5 up, ignoring wounds?
Yep.
What does he normally need to cast it? You
Yep,
know what, just roll the dice.
we'll see.
We'll check. Oh, is a 5 enough?
I don't believe so. I think it's a 7.
It did need a 6. No protection from Nagash today! Movement phase. Now, is anybody going to use their +3 movement command ability? So essentially in the Bonereapers army, heroes can use command abilities, but also the Hekatos units can, or a Hekatos itself can use command abilities as well on their own unit only. So the Mortek Guard, for example, there is a Hekatos in there. Where is he? Is that this guy right there? Now the unit has to be wholly within 6 inches of him to be able to use it, which is fine for 10. And the Morghast are Hekatos units, so they can use it on themselves. Yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Are these guys Hekatos as well, or is there a Hekatos?
There is a Hekatos in here,
right.
And then these guys are Hekatos, just like the Morghast, and then he's a leader.
So you have an army-wide command ability that's +3 movement,
yep.
And then they all have their own as well, or some of them have their own, like they give themselves shield wall to reroll saves, etc. And we'll talk about this as we use them. So the question is, are any of them going to give themselves +3 move? You've got 3 command points, or relentless discipline points to use. Yep. And decision?
So this unit of Mortek Guard, as well as the one that's over here, are both going to use the Unstoppable Advance, I believe it's called, to give themselves +3 movement.
And then they advance. And after, now we have to point out that the Mortek Guard, which is just the regular skeletons, sorry, are the ones that actually took the objective. So they are the ones currently holding it. And so if I come in and kill all of them, and that unit that killed them is within 3 inches, then I do take the objective.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. The other flank advances. They've swarmed up to the objective. Once again, the Mortek Guard are the ones holding the objective. No shooting, no charges, because everything ran and it's probably too far away anyways.
What about Battle Shock? Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to take it anyways, because nobody died. Anyway, so you grab both the objectives. They are worth a number of points equal to the number of turns you've held them for, which is 1. So that's 2 points for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. as we go into Beastclaw Raiders turn 1. I'm going to use my once per battle ability on my Huskguard on Thunder Tusk, which it says Alverg Rune something or others. It's the artifact that he took. Basically allows until his next hero phase to reroll hit rolls, wound rolls, and saving throws. He will then pray for a Keening Gale, which allows me to choose a unit with wholly within 18 inches and give him +3 move. And I need a 3+ because of the Thunderbelly's Maw Tribe. Okay, good thing I got that +1. So he can choose anybody here, any Beastclaw Raiders, including himself, and give them +3 move. He will give it to himself. He will then pray for Winter's Strength, which is his own prayers. He can do 2. He can do his own, and he can do 1 Everwinter because of the Allegiance ability. This will allow me to give a unit of Beastclaw Raiders wholly within 18 inches +1 to their wound rolls for melee weapons. I need a 4+ because there's no other Thunder Tusk nearby. He fails it. And that is the extent of my hero phase abilities. So we will move up, starting with this side. And they've run through here. Fun fact, the Thunderbelly's Maw Tribe, I didn't mention this. 2 things, actually. One is that the Thunderbelly's Maw Tribe Mournfang pack, if they are wholly within 12 inches of a table edge, when they go to charge, they can charge even if they ran. So I actually rolled a run on them, got 2 extra inches there. Second fun fact, I told you that I got the wrong mount trait. I said I gave him +1 to his hit rolls for his horns. I actually gave him +1 to charge rolls for Mournfang and Stonehorns within 12 inches of him. So between that and his general's trait, they're all going to be getting +2 charge, which makes me do even more mortal wounds. On this much weaker flank, I'll still try it. Up they go because really there's no reason not to, and I might be able to shake you off the objective. Who knows? Beginning of the shooting phase, I need to use the Blood Vulture first. I'd like to use the Blast of Frost, Ice, or whatever, because it does better against units that have 10 or more, but the Blood Vulture does have to happen at the start of the shooting phase, and so I'm going to put it just on your Immortus Guard. On a 2+, it'll do a mortal wound. That's a mortal wound, which you ignore on a 6+, as thanks to your Allegiance ability, you take the wound. Sorry, the Cavalous Death Riders. I think I called those Immortus Guard before. The Immortus Guard are those guys back there. And then he'll do his Blast of Frost Wreathed Ice into the Mortek Guard. So basically the Thunder Tusk is going to breathe on you, and it's very cold. I rolled 12 dice because he's still at full health. Each 6+ does a mortal wound, but I get to add 1 to this because there's at least 10 models in there. Oh, only 3 mortal wounds. Hey, you can buy these dice at our new store, shop.miniwargaming.com. I'll try to prove that they work better than this. Yeah, I was expecting at least 4, but you know, 6 is to ignore it. It does kill 3, so that's nice. I know you can just bring back 3 once you get close to your Bone Shaper, but I think it's your Bone Shaper that does that, right?
Yep.
Oh, trying to make my charges harder, eh?
Yep.
I see what you're doing. It's fine, that's probably a good idea. Then he's gonna throw his Chain Trap at them too. Better watch out, it's a 4 to hit. And yeah, it didn't hit, whatever, what a surprise. Oh shoot, I missed a Blood Vulture over here. So I was just gonna put it on them, it wouldn't have affected anything. So we got 1 mortal wound, which you ignore on a 6. And you do, look at that, see? Buy the MiniWarGaming Matthew dice. Shop.miniwargaming.com. So now I'll fly the Harpoon Launcher. You also notice how it negated it when I had forgotten to do it in the right sequence. The dice know all. 4 is to hit you with the Harpoon. Naturally, it misses. Then I'll fire the pistol from the Mournfang pack, hitting on a 4. Hey, it hit! Woo! 3's to wound. It wounded. It's -1 rend, so you get a 5-up save. Otherwise, it does D3 damage.
Ooh.
They don't reroll 1s. They're not the ones with the Mystic Shield on.
Right.
D3 damage. Booyah, 1, which you ignore on a 6. All right, 1 dies. Would have been nice to get more than 1 on the D3, but hey, I hit and wounded. That is something to say for a pistol. Now it's time for the charge phase. We're going to charge first with the Mournfang pack. They've got +2 to their charge right now. 1 from the General's Command trait and 1 from the General's artifact. Sorry, 1 from the... Hold on a second. Let me double check something. No, it's 1 from his mount trait. That's what it is. His artifact is all the terrain being deadly to you within 12 inches. So their total charge is going to be... Whoa! Okay, so we knew they were going to make the charge, but remember that the Ogor Maw tribes, whatever they roll for their charge, not unmodified, just as charge, they get to roll that many dice and try to do mortal wounds. Now these guys are only going to be doing mortal wounds on 6s, but it's going to get scarier when the monsters do it. So I'm just going to put them in. Like I don't actually... Well, yeah, we'll just get them both in. There we are. And then we'll roll our 12 dice. Because it's not a unit of 8 or more or monster, they just do mortal wounds on 6s. And we get the expected 2, which you ignore on 6s. You ignore one of them. So one more of them goes down. Okay. I'll have my Huskard on Stonehorn go next. And he's got a 10-inch charge. And we're actually going to put him... Hey, oh, wow, he's really hooking onto these guys. I'm going to carefully remove him. He's going to charge right on into here. So he rolled 10 for his charge. Every 4 plus will be a mortal wound. And so we've got 5 more mortal wounds, which you ignore on 6s. You ignore none of them. You got 1 left. Where are you going to leave the lone survivor?
It's got to be the Hecatos.
Why does it have to be the Hecatos?
Oh, because he's the best. And he's got +1 attack.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can understand now. We're going to back up. It is actually unmodified charge roll. All of a sudden something in my head was like, wait a second. Did you read unmodified or just charge roll? So we did perfectly statistical, so we can just put one of your skeletons back because I rolled exactly half, and so I would have been rolling 2 less, and so that works out nicely for that. That's too bad. I thought I had found a really cool combo. Huskard on Thundertusk will also... Yeah, he's going to get in the way of my Mournfang pack right here, who still do have the +2 charge. I'm going to do them first. So we're looking at a 7 up to a 9. I don't think that's going to get him, but I'll check. So I needed to actually roll a natural 8 or higher. I needed a 10-inch charge. I think it's worth... No, I don't want to try. Because I just realized that... See, getting the Huskard would be nice. But I just want to avoid the Morghast for this turn. So we'll do the Thundertusk, because if I get them in, then he has nowhere to go. And that's fine, except that I cracked his ability to reroll his hits and wounds. And he's going to charge a total of, I think it's going to be 8 inches. Because he doesn't get, this one is giving +1 to Mournfang and Stonehorns, I believe. Yeah, it is. He gets the +1 charge from the Thunderbelly Maw Tribe. General trait, I'm going to turn him around, because those tusks are going to make it very hard to do this right, because I want to stay more than 3 inches away from them. He rolled an unmodified 7 for his charge, so we're going to roll 7 dice. Each 4 plus is a mortal wound. 4 mortal wounds onto your
Kavalos Death Riders.
Kavalos Death Riders, which they ignore on 6s, and they do not, so 4 wounds. They'll kill the one and injure another one down to 1 wound. Then on the other flank, I'm quite happy with the one side. We are going to charge. I'm going to start with the Mournfang pack. No bonuses. They're far away from all the buffs. So and they're even far away. There's no hero nearby either to re-roll it. So we got a 9-inch charge, which is pretty good. So we're just going to shimmy them over there and roll our 9 dice for our charge. And every 6 will be a mortal wound. 1, which you ignore on a 6. You do not. So one of your Mortec guard is crushed underfoot, and another one steps up from the back to replace it. My Stonehorn Beast Riders will charge 7, nice average. Would have been nice to roll higher just to get more of that trampling charge, but we'll take it. That's a monster, so 4s will do mortal wounds. 4 mortal wounds, which you ignore on 6s.
Come on. Nope.
Wow, no 6s. You're not advertising my dice very well, Alex. Well, you don't want your banner for your plus charge in advance?
Nah.
Seems important.
It's fine.
You have a funny feeling you're not going to be moving very far for the rest of the game?
Not with that unit, no.
And that is the end of my charge phase, so we will now enter into the beginning of the combat phase and any command abilities we might want to use.
Shield wall, do you have anything at the start of the combat phase?
Does yours say specifically start of the combat phase?
Yes, it does.
I do actually.
Okay.
So you're just going to use a shield wall?
Yeah.
Would you like to know what I'm going to do first?
Sure.
Or it's because I don't know.
Well, technically
I get to choose the order, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. So you're gonna shield wall.
Shield wall over here.
The one that has more guys, just to try to keep them alive, because you don't want to lose both sides.
Right. And that's
Yeah, that was your last discipline point. Now they reset anyways in the next battle round. I have a couple command abilities that I could use. His command ability is to choose a Mournfang pack that charged and give them an extra damage on their tusks. So the tusks do extra damage on the charge, 1 extra, and I could just spend a command point to make that 2 extra. But I think it'll be overkill against those 2. The other command ability I could use from my Thunderbelly's Maw Tribe is to choose an enemy unit within 6 inches that has at least 1 wound allocated to it. And these guys don't have wounds allocated to them because they're 1 wound models. And Mournfang packs within 12 inches of me Or, no, sorry, Mournfang packs just get to reroll wound rolls against it. But once again, I don't have any Mournfang packs there. So I know I'm talking a lot about what I'm not going to do, but I thought you'd like to know a couple of the options that Beastclaw Raiders do have. So I'm not going to be using any of the command abilities or the command abilities from the book as well. I think I have sufficient hitting power here to not have to worry about that. And just a reminder, I do have the mount trait on the Thunder Tusk, which is enemy units within 3 inches at the start of the combat phase fight last, only if I did not charge.
Gotcha.
So it'll be a more defensive thing after this round. If you come in, if you basically go next and charge in, you just have to remember that you will be going last. So I've got actually a hard choice of what to go with first here. What I want to do is the Mournfang pack to kill those two, and then that frees up the Stonehorn to really get in there with your Death Riders. The problem is the objective is right here. And the way that this scenario works is a little wonky. It's clear once you really read it. Essentially, you gain control of the objective when you move. So any type of move, including pylons, would count as taking control of it. These guys are battle line. It's battle line and heroes that can take it. You also gain control of it if you kill the unit that's controlling it, if that unit that killed them is within 3 inches of the objective. And I've already done the measuring, and even if these guys pile in as far as they can go, they won't be within 3 inches of the objective, which means here's how it would work. These two would go in, most likely kill them. The objective is now uncontrolled. You go with your Death Riders next, they pile in, gain control of it, and now I have to kill all 4 of them in order to take the objective. So is that a risk I'm willing to take? Do I think I can take down another 10 wounds with what, 4-up saves?
4-up saves, rerolling ones with a
and 6-up ignoring.
Minions, yep.
Right, now I do have a lot of damage. I'm not worried about the damage you can deal to him because he's got 4-up save rerolling right now and you have no rend. You have lots of attacks but no rend. So I should be able to shake off most of that. And you're -1 to hit him. So that's not a problem. So maybe I'm just going to take the chance. The Mournfang pack are going to go first because if everything goes exactly as planned, I should be able to wipe out everything here. It'll be a bit of a risk, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So the Mournfang pack will pile in there 3 inches, basically as far as they can go, and then they'll attack these two, and they should be able to kill them. I'll start with the tusks on the Mournfangs because they've got some good damage potential. They're only hitting on 4s. You don't have any negatives to my hit, correct? 4s to hit. That's pretty bad. 3s to wound. So only 1. This is a -1 rend, so you get a 5-up. Otherwise, it is 2 damage, and it'll kill both of them.
Oh.
Well, or you can just save it, and I got my Gargant Hackers. They're 3 damage apiece, but they hit on 4s and wound on 3s. 4s to hit. Okay, come on, give me 2 3s, please, because they're only -1 rend. 3s to wound. Oh, I only got 1. So you get a 5-up save, otherwise it's 3 damage. Oh no, they did nothing! Well, my initial worry is over at least, because now you can't take the objective with something else.
Right.
They continue to hold it, so it's kind of funny that was what was the outcome. So you're going to do your Death Riders next.
Yep.
They're going to pile in.
I'm just going to split attacks.
So 2 and 2.
Yep.
Start with the spears. So they hit on 3s, 6s count as 2 hits. If you had charged, 5s would count as 2 hits. Oh, okay, well we're both rolling pretty poor. You can just keep that extra one in there for that 6. And then they wound on 4s. And get 1 wound. Okay, so we're just agreeing that only charges do any damage. I got a 4-up save, because you have no rend. And of course, I can't make my save, but I do ignore it on a 5. Ha-ha! Nope. And then you have your mounts as well against him. So now the hooves and teeth hit on 4s. Look at that! Well, they're averagely successful. 3s to wound. And they get 2 wounds. I got a 4-up save, which I make 1 of, and then I ignore wounds on a 5+. Nope. Pathetic Huskard and Stonehorn, and then you have your 2 others into my Thunder Tusk. 6 spears, -1 to hit, so you're looking at 4s to hit, because oh, dude. There you go, all right? You can buy these dice at shop.miniwargaming.com. It's like the only good thing when my opponent rolls well, I can like, oh, I can advertise these now. It doesn't feel any better though. 4s to wound. 4s to wound. Oh, then you do that. Oh, that's okay. That's just slightly below average. Still, you got 4 wounds out of 6 attacks,
yeah.
So that's pretty good. Now, I have a 4-up save, and I did use my once per game ability to re-roll that. So thankfully, when I just only made 1 of those, maybe I can make 1 or 2 more of these. Oh, 1, so 2 wounds. Now the mounts, they hit on 5s because of the -1. It's cold, 2 hits, 3s to wound. 4-up save, re-rolling. Woot!
Made it.
Okay. All right. So that solved two of my problems. One was him not being able to fight them, and the other was if I killed them, they get to grab the objective. So let's have the Huskguard on Thundertusk go next. I know they have some attacks, but I'd rather see how much of these I kill before I decide how much to allocate from him. Huskguard on Thundertusk, rerolling all his hits and wounds thanks to his artifact into your Death Riders. Actually, let's back up for a second. We're gonna move. We're gonna come over here first, because as much as I don't think your guys will do much damage, why let them do any damage? I'm gonna have my Huskguard, my Stonehorn Beast Riders attack them first with everything. I'm gonna punch ya, and I'm gonna kick ya. 4s to hit. Yeah, that's about as effective as I think punches and kicks should be. 4s to wound. Mind you, they are big ogre legs. Okay, all right. So they hurt, all right. No Ren, so 4-up save.
Rerolling.
And you did.
Shield wall.
Oh, good thing. You put up your shield wall. Does that help against kicks and punches? It sure does. Well, command point well spent. We got the Rock Hard Horns, 6 attacks. Now they charged, which means they get to do 4 damage instead of 3 damage. But they're hitting on 4s and 3s, so I don't know if you need to worry about anything here. 4s to hit. Yeah, see? Cannons. Who needs cannons? 3s to wound. So these are -2 Rens. You get a 6-up, re-rolling, which you fail, but you get to re-roll it. Phew! That would be 4 dead guys. So by crushing hooves, you got 5 of them. 3s to hit. But come on, that was the hard part. It's 2s to wound. All right, and these are -1 Ren, D3 plus 1 damage. So you get a 5-up save against these. Made one of them. You made only one of them, so they're gonna do D3 plus 1 damage each. So, ooh, that's 8 damage. Okay, so we're doing well there. After all that, just deny, and crumble. They're dead. You had to make me sweat for it first. So the Stonehorn Beast Riders are now in control of that objective. And now your guard can fight. Where would they like to allocate their attacks? They basically can choose the Huskguard Stonehorn or the Mornfang pack.
Yeah, they're going to allocate to your general.
Just try to take them down more.
Yep.
You actually have a Great Blade right there, so 3s to hit. And 3s to wound. Now the Great Blade is just an extra rend, right? Oh,
Yep.
Well, or nothing. Hectos has the extra attack, and this is with the blade, so 3s to hit. I kind of like what they did where the blades and spears, it's not a difference of the to hit, it's a difference of the rend. I like that. 4s to wound.
Oh,
Nothing.
man.
Nothing. So. Now we'll do my Huskguard on Thundertusk, who is currently re-rolling everything. I start with my punches and my kicks. 3s to hit. Re-rolling. Haha! My punches. Oh. 4s to wound. Re-rolling. Okay, we got 2 of them. No rend, 1 damage. Watch out. You get your 4-up save. You get to re-roll 1s, and you also ignore wounds on a 6+, which you do not. Killed 1 so far. And then the big tusks of the Thundertusk hitting on 3s. Okay, wounding on 2s. Nice. These are -1 rend, so you get a 5-up save, re-rolling 1s. So you made 2 of them. You made 3. Oh, come on, man. D3 damage. 2, which you ignore on 6s. All right, well, that's 2 more. I would have been a little happier to have slipped through at least 1 extra damage there just to finish off 1 more, because this is making my other choices kind of hard. Because all that's left now is my Huskguard on Stonehorn to fight, because I've kept everything else more than 3 inches away. This is a hard choice, because right now these horns are damage 4, 6 attacks, 4s and 3s -2, but 4s and 3s makes me very uncomfortable. Heck, 3s and 3s would make me very uncomfortable. If I had rerolls everywhere, then maybe. So I have to allocate the minimum amount to this. So I'm definitely going to be allocating the punches and kicks and the trampling hooves. So the problem with the trampling hooves is they're D6 attacks. So I could just roll 1 and do squat. So what I'm going to do is allocate all of that and 3 of the Rock Hard Horn. I want to put them all into them. 3 of the horns into them, and then the other 3 will go into them. So I'll do the 3 Rock Hard Horn attacks into your Mortek Guard, the 2 little skeletons, hitting on 4s. Okay, 2 of them hit, 3s to wound. Only 1 of them got through. It's a 6-up save against this. See? See? Uh-oh. If I don't kill them, that actually might cost me the game to not get you off that objective.
Yeah.
Because even if I get double turn, that's a lot less points that I'm going to be. That's like 2 less points that I'll have gathered up. So, right. Well, I can still kill them though. I get D6 crushing hoof attacks. 5 of them. Okay, this should be able to do it. These are 3s to hit. Oh, dude! Come on, 2s to wound. Don't show me a 1. These are only -1. If you can make 6-ups, you can make 5-ups, right?
Probably.
Oh,
well.
and you don't re-roll those.
Nope.
So they're D3 damage each, +1. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should do it, unless you roll 4 6s.
Come on, dancing mats. Oh, I got 2 of them, but
Would have made a good advertising. Okay.
Finally gone.
Well, it's nice to know that they have, because they have the same save, so that same thing with those horns would have happened to them, so at least it's not like they were wasted or anything. They just sucked. So then I'll put the horns into them, the other 3. 4s to hit. Yeah, okay. 3s to wound. If I can get both of these, that would be fantastic. Of course not. -2, so you get a 6-up save. And you get to reroll 1s.
But nope.
So that's going to be 4 damage, which you ignore on 6s. Ooh, 2. Kills 1 more and wounds another 1. Hey, it's not horrible. Now you can heal them too, is that right?
I can, but the Bonereaper's not in range.
Well, is he not close enough? All right. But even if he was, you'd only be able to heal the one because there's wounds
Correct.
allocated to them.
Correct.
Technically, my Mournfang pack can still be chosen to fight because they charged. I could actually pile in 3 inches and fight the next thing, but I do not want to. Although, no, because you probably actually slaughter the Mournfang pack and then come after me. So this gives me a little more hitting power.
Why is that bad?
Bad for me, good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I understand how that was confusing. Well, there is a battle shock phase for some of us.
Yeah.
Not me, because I didn't lose anything.
Oh,
and not you, because...
Oh, I mean, the phase is still there. I just ignore battle shock tests. So the phase happens.
Do you ignore them, or do you automatically pass them?
I ignore tests.
That's too bad. Because if you say you automatically pass them, you can be like, okay, I'll take one for this one.
Nah.
Passed. I'll take one for this one. Passed.
Just ignore all battle shock tests.
Which functionally is the same thing. It's just more of the funness of saying it. Okay, so I took both the objectives from you. So the score is tied 2-2. We're going to be a big roll-off right now, because if I win that roll-off, I pretty much am going to get 4 more points. Yeah, and the Mournfang pack, well, and we'll kill those 2. That's what kind of sucks. All my army will be stuck in there rather than charging out, because I think I actually put them within 3 inches of your guys, which means no charging. But my turn will be very simple if I'm the one that goes next, let's put it that way. So 2-2 at the end of battle round 1. Now before we roll to see who goes first, you actually have to generate your special command points, which are called...
Relentless Discipline Points.
You've lost 2 of your units, so you still get the 2 for your 2 heroes, and then you roll 7 dice instead of the 9 before, each 6 generating you an extra 1. And hey, you got 2 this time, so 4 of your relentless point thingies. And now we roll to see who gets to pick who goes next. You win ties.
Uh-oh.
You win ties. Whoa!
I was sweating there.
It might have actually it might have almost been game if I got a double turn there.
Yeah.
Not quite, because I wouldn't do a lot of damage to you, and so you still have a good chance to hit back and do some damage. So who would you like to go next? Think about it.
Me.
Think about it.
Me.
Are you sure?
Me.
Okay. Your wonderful terrain feature is going to Gaze of Death with Punishment of Agony on which unit?
The Thunder Tusk.
The Husker and Thunder Tusk. On a 4+, it'll give him -1 to hit. Am I agonized? I am
Nope.
not agonized. Ooh, you rolled a 1. Does that mean I get +1 to hit?
Only against your own units.
Deal. We got some spells. What are you going to do first?
So the Mortisan Soul Reaper is going to try to cast Soul Blast.
Normally needs a 7, so a 6 because of the realm feature. You rolled a 10 and made it 11. And what perchance does Soul Blast do?
So on a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 3, the Stonehorn takes 1 mortal wound, and on a 4-up, it suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Okay, fun. So 0 mortal wounds.
Yes.
We've just kind of agreed to go a little soft, except for charges.
We're warming up.
Yeah.
Bonereaper is going to try to cast the Shyish realm spell Knight's Touch on the Mortis Guard. Casting value of 8, so 7 with the realm feature.
Oh, that's too bad.
Just missed it.
It's a 6-inch range, and they would have ignored modifiers, positive and negative, to their save rolls. And they have a 3 out of save, so that would have made them very, very beefy. Movement phase is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Move. Get ready to fight. Boy. And the Bone Shaper.
He's going to advance.
He's going to run 5 inches. Just going to zip right up there. And then the Morghast will fly around menacingly. Get ready to engage the Thunder Tusk. And on this side, you're running out of guys that can hold the objective. Only one that can hold objectives on this side is your hero.
Yep.
And to do that, one of two things has to happen. Either it needs to kill my Stonehorn, be the one to kill it while being within 3 inches of the objective, which is kind of scary for it. Or you need to kill the Stonehorn or something else, and then have that model pile in to within 3 inches of it before I pile in with my battle line.
Okay.
So kind of tricky, but let's see how you can handle this. Go ahead, move your guys. I don't think you really need to measure, except to keep away the 3 inches.
Yep.
Morghast will just kind of scooch in there as well. Interesting question that the FAQ and errata cannot answer. It says that the objective is worth a number of victory points equal to the number of consecutive turns that the player has controlled it. Now, there are 2 turns in each battle round, your turn and your opponent's turn. But the way that it words it, it then says 1 on the first turn, 2 on the second turn, etc. And so, let's say that you hadn't lost the objective during my turn. You wouldn't score any points because it says the player scores it on their own turn. But then if you continue to hold it again, is it worth 2 points? Or is it worth 3 points because you've held it for 3 consecutive turns? Your turn, my turn, your turn. And so that, it feels like they meant your own consecutive turns. But then the next question comes, if you take this objective back from you, you've held it for 2 of your own turns. So is it worth 2 points? Or is it only worth 1 because you lost control of it during my turn? And I actually don't know the answer to this. The FAQ and errata do not clarify it. If you guys know of another place where they talked about it on Warhammer Community, please point me that direction. That way we can know. So we're just going to have to go with what we want to do, which is we're not going to count the opponent's turn. So if you take these objectives back, they would be worth 2 points. And so because we're not counting the opponent's turn, if we did count the opponent's turn, they'd actually only be worth 1 point to you. Right. But potentially it could be worth a lot more points to me if I held on to them. So we're just going to play it that way. And you're good at that, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. So it means they could be worth 2 points to you still because you still managed to grab them before too long. Which feels weird because you know you lost them, but then you've got to go with the other way where they can be worth even more to somebody who's managed to hold on to them during their opponent's turn, which maybe is the intention, but just once again feels off with the way that they worded it. Charging!
Start with the Immortus Guard.
Don't roll double 1. They did not.
Yep.
5 inches. Right in there. Morghast, just anything but a double 1 and they're in.
Well, they've got 3d6 to their charge.
So they're in.
But
13 inches!
Yep.
And they're just going to use that whole 13 inches to move 3. On this side,
The Necropolis Stalkers.
charging 6. The question is, do you leave a nice gap for your Morghast?
Yeah.
You can always pile in the other guys if the Morghast somehow fill that charge.
Right.
Now these Morghast only charge 2d6, so 7, which gets them in nice and tidy. The fact is there enough room for their bases though?
Yeah, probably don't.
In they go. Now the Huskard, on Thunder Tusk, his mount ability is that if you're within 3 inches of him at the start of the combat phase, then you must fight last if he did not charge, which is everything of yours over here. Did you have any beginning of combat phase command traits or command abilities you wanted to use?
Not at the beginning, no.
I will use the generic all-out attack command ability. The Huskard will just give it to himself, so he'll reroll 1s to hit in this phase. And you know what? I'll use my other command point to do the same thing to the Mornfang, because he's already rerolling everything, because he still has that ability on. So these guys will be rerolling 1s to hit, he'll reroll everything. But you still could choose something over here to fight first. So what is going to fight first? Your Morghast or your Necropolis Stalkers?
I'm going to try the Morghast first.
Is he going to pile in with the other one or just have the one fight?
Just the one's going to fight.
3 attacks, hitting on.
3s.
Yeah, 2 hits, wounding on.
3s.
Oh, you gotta love 3s and 3s, just giving you nothing, right?
But -2 rend on the Mornfang.
Okay, so 6 up. Just want to acknowledge that I have been forgetting the War Scroll battalion of 6s to hit do mortal wounds. That may have made a difference over on the other side of the table. Not quite sure. So I have a 6 up save against this, but if I do roll a 6, you take a mortal wound from my Iron Fist. Oh, look at that. I save it, and you take a mortal wound, which you ignore on a 6.
Well, they first have an Ebon Rot armor save, a 5 up against mortal wounds.
So 5 up. Oh, look at that. You're fine. I will have my Stonehorn Beast Riders go, and I will focus on your Necropolis Stalkers. We should mention at the start of the combat phase, they have to choose some sort of like combat parrying stance that they're going to be in, and you're going to give them +1 rend and damage.
Yes.
Yikes. So yeah, I will definitely hit them then. All right, first I'm going to punch and kick them in the teeth, hitting on 4s. Oh, not bad. Apparently I know how to punch. Oh. Yeah, that's 3 mortal wounds in addition, so just remember those 3 mortal wounds for a second. And wounding you on 4s. So 4 wounds, which no rend. What's their save? 4 up?
4 up.
And so they're taking 1 wound plus the 3 mortal wounds, which you ignore all those on 6s. And you take 3 wounds. How many wounds? They have 4 wounds each, so one's not dead yet. We've got the rock hard horns hitting on 4s. So no 6s to do mortal wounds, and these are going to wound on 3s. So 2 of them. These are -2 rend, 3 damage apiece.
6s.
Oh, you did it again! By the way, you can buy these dice at shop.miniwargaming.com! Crushing hooves, 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, and oh, that's a mortal wound, and wounding on 2s. Yeah, there's a 1! -1 rend, so you get a 5 up save. You take the mortal wound though, on a 6 you ignore it, and oh, can I finish off a guy? Okay, you can remove him. This should have been another guy though. He should have failed both those 6s and taken 6 more damage. And now they can fight the Stonehorn Beast Riders. Starting with the Dread Falchions, hitting on 4s. So 2 hits. Now these are going to wound on 3s. And now you have the extra rend and the extra damage. So they're now -3 rend, which just ignores my 4-up armor. And their damage goes from 2 to 3. Now I'm a Stonehorn, so I ignore damage on, or wounds on 5s. So he takes 2 damage instead. And then you've got their Spirit Blades, which hit on 3s. Wound on 3s. It's amazing. I know it's just mathematical and that's statistical, but you feel like when you have 3s to hit, 3s to wound, you should do better. So these are normally -1, so they're -2 rend, so I get a 6-up save. And they normally do 1 damage each, so they're going to do 2 damage each, which I ignore on 5s. So 3 more wounds. It does bracket me a couple times, or once. Yeah, no, a couple times. I've lost 2 of my rock hard horn attacks, which you just ignore on 6s and 8s. So I'm basically free to do the rest of my army before you can fight more. So let's just finish over here. My 2 Mournfang pack into your Morghast. I'm sorry, are these the Archai?
Yes.
These are Morghast Archai. Start with their clubs and prey hackers, hitting on 3s. 6s do mortal wounds. Wounding on 3s. Only 2 of them. These are 2 damage each, but they're no rend. So what do you have, a 4-up?
Yep.
And you fail one of them, so it's 2 damage. Which now do they ignore it on 5s, or is that only mortal wounds?
That's only mortal wounds.
So they still ignore it on 6s though.
Yes.
And they take 2 damage so far.
Okay.
Then I got my Tusks hitting on 4s. There's 1 mortal wound so far. Ooh, that was a hit. And 3s. Oof. Wow. -1, so you get a 5-up. And then ignore it on a 6. No.
Nope.
So, and the mortal wound you ignore on a 5. And you ignore it on a 6.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's 4 wounds total. So it doesn't
low.
quite kill one, but still got some good damage. Now over here, the important thing will be to make sure that you don't take the objective from me. Because right now your only battle line are these 2, is that correct?
Yes.
These are not battle line?
Correct.
We're sure of that?
Yes.
All right, so these are the only battle line. So I need to make sure that they don't do the killing blow to my Stonehorn, which I don't think that they could. But, you know, I gotta check. So all my guys get to go, so it's just a matter of how I'm gonna allocate it. So I'll start with my 2 Mournfang, because they only have 1 choice. So I can pile this guy in a little bit different. And this is where I maybe can get within 2 inches, as long as I don't shift any of your models. Only the ones in range, so I'll start with the Gargant Hacker hitting on 4s. Then wounding on 3s. These are -1, 3 damage apiece. So we got a 4-up save with these guys instead of 3-up. And you're fine. And then we got the Tusks. 4s to hit. No mortal wounds. Oh, reroll 1s. I don't know if I rolled any 1s to the last one. And 3s to wound. Yeah, 1 wound. -1 rend, so you have 4-up save, and you're fine. Look, here's the 6s. All right? You're already selling the dice enough. Shop.miniwargaming.com, all right? Thank you, Alex, for being our main sponsor.
The dancing mats are with me today.
They sure are. My Huskguard and Thundertusk will go next. He's going to focus everything on your Death Riders. You start by punching you and kicking you, hitting you on 3s. Re-rolling, because he still has his 1-use thing. Kind of glad I used it. It worked out quite nice. 4s to wound. Re-rolling. Yeah, I got 1 instead of 0. No rend. You got a 4-up save on them?
Yep.
Hey! Then they ignore the wound on a 6. That's only 1 damage. Hey, look at you, Dancing Matthew! I'm not even going to advertise anymore. I think it's starting to get a little old. Then the Colossal Tusks. I haven't lost anything at this point yet. No, I have not. So 3s to hit. Re-rolling, but I got them all. 2s to wound. Once again, got them all. These are -1 rend, D3 damage, so you get a 5-up save against these. 3 of them get through, which could potentially do a lot of damage. D3 damage each. Oh, that's not bad. 3, 4, 5, 6. Which you ignore on 6s. Ooh, 6 damage. Well, they had 5 wounds left. You did it, Thunder Tusk. People say that you're lousy. I don't believe them. And then lastly, my Huskard on Stonehorn will go, and he'll put everything obviously into your, sorry, what are they called again?
Mortis Guard.
The Mortis Guard. Let's just start with his regular punches and kicks. 3s to hit, re-rolling 1s. 6s do mortal wounds. All right, 4s to wound. Look at that, 1 wound, no rend, 1 damage. So you get your 3-up save, yeah, you're fine. Rock hard horns, I'm down to 5 attacks. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Whoa, we got 2 mortal wounds in there already. 3 mortal wounds, nice. 3s to wound. They all wound. These are -2, 5-up saves, 3 damage apiece.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it's happening! It's happening! So between the mortal wounds and the damage, that's 15 wounds allocated, which you ignore on 6s. Oh,
Come on, dancing
luck-
bats!
no, it's only 1!
Oh no!
Don't buy these dice! Oh, that destroyed them all!
Oh jeez!
Ah!
That's not good.
I feel like I'm like, it's not working! It's not working! Overkill! Oh! I'm sorry I ever doubted you guys. You're obviously awesome. Now your Morgas get to try to hurt my Thunder Tusk. Lots and lots of swords, normally hitting on 3s, but it's so cold that you're hitting on 4s. Look at you, you don't care. You just don't roll the 3s. Well, I think you're due some good luck here. 3s to wound. Not that you haven't been rolling pretty well for your 6-up saves,
Yeah.
but I think that last little bit there kind of reversed your luck. So you're -1, right?
Yep.
So my 4-up becomes a 5-up. I make 1 of them. Oh. Sorry. I get to reroll. I make 2 of them, and they're how much damage each?
2 each.
So that's 4 damage total, which I do not ignore. I ain't no Stonehorn. 6 wounds remaining. So
Kind of bounced off you that turn.
you did. You did. So his mount trait of making everything fight last.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal because it allowed me just to wipe out all of these before they even had a chance to swing.
Yep.
And they weren't any kind of pushovers when it came to the damage.
No.
So really, I think you're in trouble. We'll do my turn and see how much damage I can do next. These 2 are no longer in combat, so Bone Shaper, Sayonara.
He's
And that's the only.
shaking in his, well, he's not wearing boots. But
Shaking in his bones. His bones are shaking.
his bones are rattling.
He's the Bone Shaker.
He's-
Get it? Instead of Shaper, I changed the P to a K.
Ha ha.
It's awesomely funny. First off, started my hero phase, we got the Grasp of the Everwinter, which is every enemy unit within 3 inches of any of my Beastclaw Raiders possibly take mortal wounds. I have to roll equal to or under the current round number, which is 2. So start with these Morgas, I have to roll a 1 or a 2. Nope. Your Stalkers. No. And your other Morgas. No. And then he is going to pray. I got the prayer still that gives +3 movement to something. I could always give it to these Mournfang, and I don't know what I would do with it, but 3+. Hey, got it. And then he's going to pray. Does he give strength to somebody to give him +1 wound? You know what? I'm just going to see if I make the roll first before I choose. 4+, he's going to give somebody... healing D3 wounds would be nice because he's down 1 bracket. But +1 wound could also be nice. No, let's do healing. 4+. Okay? And he'll give D3 wounds back to this Stonehorn, my general. 2 of them. So he's back up to 11. Unfortunately, I'm not close enough to my Mawpaw to really use it. But oh well. Movement phase, this Mournfang pack will just kind of skirt around, get ready to help out with those Morgas. Stonehorn will just get outside of the 3 inches, as will the Mournfang pack. After the shooting phase, I gotta do the Vultures first. Since these guys love mortal wounds, we're gonna give them to the Stalkers instead. So 2+ does a mortal wound. Nope. And I'll put it on them, 2+ mortal wound. Yes. Which they ignore on a 6. They don't have the 5-up ignoring mortal wounds. So they take 1 mortal wound. Then we'll do his Frost Wreath Ice. We'll put it on them. So only 8 attacks now because he's lost so many wounds. Each 6 will do a mortal wound. 1, which you ignore on a 6. You do not. I think you're all out of 6s. You used them all up in the first 2 turns. And we'll shoot the Harpoon Launcher at them. Yeah, why not? 4 is to hit, and he misses. And he'll throw his little, he'll throw it at them. His little bear trap weapon. 4 is to hit. Yeah, that's about expected. And we got a pistol. Throw it at the Morghast. Yeah, nope, it didn't hit. Charge clock, charging in. It's more than 3. It's actually gonna be 4, 5. But the more important thing is that I only rolled 3 to do some mortal wounds. Every 6 is a mortal wound. And I get 1 still, which you ignore on a 6. Can't complain about getting 1 of those. Just gonna mortal wound these bad boys to death. I'll charge this Mournfang pack. 9, 10, 11 inches. Obviously they're making it. Just leaving the room. So, but it's a natural 9. 6s do mortal wounds. He takes 1 again, which he ignores on just a 6, right?
Yep.
Nothing special for him.
Nope.
1 wound. And lastly, my Stonehorn will charge with a natural 8. I'm gonna put him, I've got room for it. It's just all these claws and stuff in the way. Essentially, he's going between your hero, sorry, he's up to 11 wounds, and them, and he's gonna put the wounds on them.
Gotcha.
So I got 8 of them, 4 up, 2 mortal wounds. Oh, 5 mortal wounds, which they ignore on 6s. Oh, pretty good. Still kills 1 though.
Yep.
Wow, gotta love that mechanic. Beginning of the combat phase is going to point out this guy has to fight last because he's within 3 inches of my Thunder Tusks mount trait. I'm going to use my command point from the Thunderbellies Maw tribe, and I get to pick an enemy unit within 6 inches that has at least 1 wound allocated to it. So we'll say this one, because that's the only choice I have, because there's no wounds allocated there. And Mournfang pack get to reroll wound rolls against it. So just these 2. We're going to come over here, and I'm going to go first with my Huskard or the Stonehorn Beast Riders into your Stalkers. Start with their punches and kicks, hitting on 4s. 6s do mortal wounds. Wow, that was spectacular. 4s do nothing. Okay. We've got the Rock Hard Horns, which are down to 4 attacks because you've heard it so much. Hitting on 4s. That's a mortal wound. And I get to keep going. 3s to wound. Okay, a mortal wound, which you ignore on a 6. You do not. And then I'm going to step on you with my Crushing Hooves 2 times. Hitting on 3s. That's 1 hit. Wounding on 3s now because he's hurt. Okay, 1 wound. So he's going to wound 1 time.
Let's do that guy.
Now the question is, do you want to go with your Morghast or with Hero Man? Go with your Bone Shaper?
Yep.
He's got 2 massive attacks hitting on 3s. Oh, or what are you attacking, by the way?
Does it matter?
Well, you could take, if you take 2 wounds off of him.
Sure.
You only did 1 hit though. 4s
But-
to wound.
4s to wound.
Okay.
All right.
It was -3 rend because of the artifact you gave him.
Yep.
Just FYI to the audience. I'll do these 2 Mournfang pack into your Morghast Archive. Start with their clubs and hackers hitting on 3s. So we got 4 hits. No mortal wounds though, which doesn't matter too much to you because you like to ignore those. 3s to wound. We got 3 wounds. No rend, but 2 damage apiece. So what do you have, a 4 up? Mm-hmm. So you take 0 damage. And then the Tusks hitting on 4s. So 2 hits, but we got a mortal wound! 3s to wound. 1 wound, so you get a -1 save, so 5 up. You fail that, you ignore the mortal wound on a 5 up. You fail that, and now you have 2 wounds allocated, which you ignore on a 6 up. Hope you can follow this at home.
Nope.
2 wounds. Oh, just enough to kill the 1. Morghast is gonna go next. Who's he fighting?
He's going to do the Mournfangs.
Pretty big weapon.
Yep.
Hitting on
3s.
Ooh, all 3 hit. Wounded on 3s as well. Look at that. 3s and 3s actually got all the way through. Yep. What's the rend?
-2.
So 6 up. And how much damage each?
3 damage each.
So that's 6 damage. That's exactly how many wounds they have each. So I will kill the non-leader guy. I'll go next with my Mournfang pack into your Morghast. Start their kicks and punches. Sorry, not kicks and punches. Their prey hacker and clubs hitting on 3s. Got a mortal wound in there. 3s to wound. So 2 wounds, which are no rend, so you get a 4 up save. And it's 2 damage plus the mortal wound, so that's 3 of them, which you ignore on 6s, because you... So it's 2 wounds so far. And then we'll do the Tusks, hitting on 4s. Yikes. Wounding on 3s. These are -1, 2 damage, because I charged. So 5 up, 2 damage, which you ignore them on 6s. So 2 more wounds. Brings him down to 2. I'll do the Huskard, Thunder Tusk into him. Punches and kicks, hitting on 3s. No rerolls anymore. That's all gone. 4 is to wound. We got 2 wounds. You get a 4-up save against that. And you ignore it on 6s. It's 1 damage. So you've got 1 wound left.
Yep.
Then the Tusks will hit on 3s. And they only wound on 3s now, not 2s, because you hurt them. No, it's only 1. -1, D3 damage. So 5 up, otherwise he's dead. Well, D3 damage.
Yeah, hold on, he's not dead yet.
Okay, you have to roll double 6 to keep him alive.
Come on, that's a mats.
Ooh,
Almost
it looked like
gone.
for a second. Yeah, that's gone. And I'm gonna let my Huskard on Stonehorn do the honors of trying to kill your Bone Shaper. We'll start with the punches and kicks, just for fun. 3s to hit. Oh, look, they all hit. 4s to wound. 2 wounds, no rend, 1 damage apiece. What's his save?
4 up.
So he takes 2 wounds possibly. 6s to ignore them. Yep, he takes 2 wounds. He's down to 2.
Yep.
Come on, Rock Hard Horns, you can do it.
No.
4s to hit. Now come on. I don't even.
That all you got?
Oh, we're fine. 3s to wound.
Oh, come on.
-2.
6 up.
Okay, so that just did 4 damage.
All right,
Which-
I got this.
Would you ignore on 6s?
I got this. Oh,
Well, yeah, you can have another one.
there it is.
Yeah, he's dead. Lastly, you got your Stalkers over here who get to fight. We actually, not lastly, we should have come back to them a while ago, but yeah, whatever. The Falchions first, hitting on 4s. And wound, did the 6s do anything?
Not
No.
on these guys.
Okay. Oh, did you give him the +1 rend and
Yep.
damage? We'll just assume that. 3s to wound. So the rend is now -3, which ignores.
And 3
So 3 damage now instead of 2, which I ignore on 5s. Haha, it's so funny. Down to 6. Then you got the blades on the other one, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. And these are -2 instead of -1, so 6 up. Nope, and they're 2 damage instead of 1. So this could kill him if I fill all these 5 ups. Almost. I got my 1 wound left. So at the end of the turn, I'm still controlling both objectives, which gives me 4 points.
Well, Battle Shock.
Well, yeah, he might run, but he's not controlling the objective anyways.
No,
so
but
he's
I
got.
want to see if he runs.
Okay. Right now he's got +2 bravery because he's eating. He's 9 on some bones from the Morghast that he helped kill. But -1 bravery because the Morghast gives you -1 bravery. Where's the other one -1 bravery from?
From the Mortis Praetorian's Allegiance.
The Allegiance of yeah, right. That's one where all your units give -1 bravery.
Right.
So it brings my bravery back down to 6. I lost 1 guy, and the other one sticks around, just barely, but he sticks around. So I have both objectives. That's worth 4 points to me. We would roll off to see who goes next, but you can see I have this side of the table. And let's say that you did go next. You would kill these 2 guys, grab the objective, and then have to face the rest of my army with a very small fragment. And I would be ahead in points and already be controlling that objective, whereas you'll have just started to control that objective. Because there's no consecutive turn there. So there's really no chance.
Right.
And we had talked, just so you know, off camera, we talked about this, and Alex had already said he'd concede. I'm not trying to bully him into conceding. There's no chance, Alex!
dare
Just
you.
give up, Alex! You can't do it, Alex! Good game. But yeah, I was surprised. The fighting last mount trait,
Yep.
I would give that a lot of credit for my ability to push through that, because that charge that you did could have been more devastating than it was. And obviously the Beastclaw Raiders charge mortal wounds. It feels like I do almost more damage on the charge than I ever do in the combat phase. I know it still works out, and you got some lucky 6-up saves that could have more quickly moved things through. What did you think about the Beastclaw Raiders right now?
They're pretty good. Unfortunately, the Allegiance ability I picked didn't really have an effect because it's -1 bravery. But I mean, you guys.
That'd be better against like if I was playing Gutbusters,
Right.
where all of a sudden I have like big units of 6 or 9 or 12, and so you could actually make some of them run.
Yeah.
But it happened that this army is
I mean,
not caring too much about Battle Shock.
Yeah, my guys it's elites versus elites, and I think your elites are better than my elites.
Yeah, it's interesting because yours definitely on paper hit harder, do more damage, but mine have that trampling charge. Just that.
Yeah.
That alone
I mean,
makes up for their kind of lackluster stat lines when it comes to their damage.
Yeah, my experiences with Legions of Nagash, where I've got like skeleton screens and all kinds of things that I can kind of negate that charge, but when it's up against my elite units, it's just.
What do you do, right?
Yeah.
You can still do that with this army. You just got to get more of the regular Mortec guard.
Right.
So, but the armies has come out, so just now available for you to buy stuff. we're literally filming this battle report within the week after the release of
Yeah.
that stuff.
The Death Riders I literally got 5 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome that you were able to get them painted up. Well, we're going to play another game of Bonereapers versus some sort of Ogor mod tribes in the MiniWarGaming Vault at the link below. So make sure you go check that out. If you're not a Vault member, you can still click it. We'll give you a free 7-day trial, instant access to all the videos, and hopefully they'll decide to stick around and support us because our Vault members are what allow us to do this. So thank you so much to our Vault members. And of course, thank you to Alex for coming in.
No problem.
And it's lots
Thanks
of fun.
for having me.
And we'll see you in the next game, Alex.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys too. Happy wargaming.